Dan Campbell is going into his third year as Detroit Lions head coach, and that first year was off to a rocky start. We went 3-13-1. We didn't win our first game until week 13, ironically, and it was a rough start. I was one of the guys that was willing to give him 2 more years. And then the start to this season, or the previous season, was super rough as well. Came out, put out a good fight against the Philadelphia Eagles, beat the Washington Commanders to go to 1-1, and then we lost 5 in a row, and things were looking bleak for the Detroit Lions, especially from the fan perspective. But Dan Campbell and his group of guys never gave up. And in his already, he has more wins than Matt Patricia. As a matter of fact, let's see what Siri says. Hey, Siri, what was Matt Patricia's record with the Detroit Lions?
Here's an answer from Wikipedia. Patricia finished his tenure in Detroit with a record of 13-291.314.
Matt Patricia was 13-29-1 in 2.5 seasons. And even though Dan Campbell started 1-6 this year, 3-13-1 last year, he still has 4 more wins than Matt Patricia in half a season less. So that tells you right there that Matt Patricia is by far a better coach. Guys want to play for him. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, David Montgomery, free agents that we got that we didn't have to overpay for like we did with Trey Flowers. So you can tell that Dan Campbell is a pretty good coach. Still some coaching decisions that he has to get better at, but he has guys to help him. And also, with more time, more experience will come better decision making. So we are going to see different decisions being made in year 3 than we saw in years 1 and 2. But I thought this was kind of cool. The 33rd team, this thing right here is hot. They have a YouTube channel, they have a website, and what it is former NFL players. And this is the site and the YouTube channel that St. Brown and his brother is on every week with their podcast. They have Ross Tucker, who is a former teammate of Dan Campbell. I couldn't find what team they played on together. He ranked the coaches in the National Football League. And I like where he has Dan Campbell. I think that this is a really good spot. I really do. And I will show you where it is. Now, Dan Campbell is under these guys here, and I want you to tell me what you think of this. Now, there are some things that I agree with and disagree, but we'll just kind of run through this real quick. Number 1 is Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. I agree with that. Bill Belichick, I agree with that as well. Mike Tomlin, okay, never had a losing season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one's a little questionable to me because he has no history with the Denver Broncos, but we know what he did with the New Orleans Saints, so I'll take that as well. Nick Sirianni, can't deny that. He went to the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan, can't deny that. This one right here, Sean McVay, I don't know. I think that might be a little high, maybe based on the fact what he's done, then I can say, okay, cool. But in the fact that he's got a Super Bowl. But other than that, I'm not sure. Brian Dable, he won Coach of the Year last year. I don't know if I have him that high, but okay. Pete Carroll, he's been doing it a long time. Doug Peterson, his first year with the Jacksonville Jaguars, takes him to the playoffs. I guess, right? I guess we can do that. Okay, I'm fine with that. John Harbaugh, okay. Zach Taylor, can't deny that. Mike Vrabel, he can't seem to get over the hump, but that is the coach I wanted when he was available, but we took Matt Patricia instead. Number 14, Mike McDaniels, another first-year head coach, and I guess I'll take that. Kevin O'Connell, his first year with the Minnesota Vikings, because they went 13-4 and also made the playoffs and also won the division. Okay. And then finally is our coach, Dan Campbell. Here's what he had to say as Dan Campbell goes 17-28-1. Analysis. Campbell is another former teammate of mine. This might be a little too high for what he's accomplished thus far, but the buzz around the Detroit Lions team is real. And so was that win in Lambeau in Week 18 to kick the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs. Now, not only did we kick the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs after literally no one on the panel, I think that Sunday night, Nobody picked us to win. We had already been eliminated from playoff contention before we even played that game. Not only that, we sent Aaron Rodgers packing out of the whole conference. He is no longer a bane in our existence. And the last pass he had as a Green Bay Packer is in our possession. So that's fantastic. Picked off by Kirby Joseph. Now, I agree with the number. I disagree with the pardon here. This might be a little too high for what he's accomplished thus far. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect for where he is. Missed out on the playoffs, right? And there are some teams in there that he's below that I believe made the playoffs. He's above the Brandon Staley and the Chargers. They made the playoffs. Mike McCarthy, he's above him. They made the playoffs. Sean McDermott, he's above him. They made the playoffs. He's also above Robert Saleh, Todd Bowles, Dennis Allen, and the rest I don't even need to name. It's a couple new head coaches in there as well. So I agree with this. I think, even though we didn't make the playoffs, so he could have been ranked 17, or 15. I think 16 is pretty good. There's a couple that I disagree with that I mentioned earlier, but I think that's pretty good, and I think that's why you have to put him so high. It's high. I don't think that's too high at all. Start the season 3-13-1. Start the second season off really, really tough. Turn it around and win 8 out of the last 10 games. Put out Aaron Rodgers. Put him out of the division. All the excitement. We are the team nobody wanted to play. Nobody wanted to play us. You could argue the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers, but we were the hottest team in the NFL heading into Week 18. So I agree with this. I like it. Dan Campbell should be top 10 next year. We get our first playoff win, our first division win, and Dan Campbell could be top 10 easily next year. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of the ranking of Dan Campbell, number 16, by Ross Tucker of the 33rd team? I will link everything I use will be linked in the description. So check it out if you see fit. You can find out more about it. You can follow me on Twitter at Lion Syndicate, trying to get to 300 followers over there. And we have 100 days until the NFL season begins, not including the preseason. So we're almost there. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.